Welcome back, my pop culture comrades. This is another edition of Combating Hate, and we have to take a look at Nerdrotic for his view on Doctor Strange 2. Before we get into that, guys, make sure to smash that like button, share the show on social media, and subscribe. Help support the channel. Nerdrotic has been, how do I say it? One of the worst content creators and has some of the most terrible opinions that I've ever seen in my life. I watched, in preparation for this video, I watched his take on Moon Knight, in which he, smashes the show. Some points of his are valid. The amount of Moon Knight that we got, the changes in the story, but for the most part, he hates all Marvel content because of their strong, independent, female and minority characters, which is so racist, sexist, and so many more words that end in ist that I can't even fathom how this man has not been canceled. Not going to waste too much time because it is a 20-minute video and there's a lot to get through. Let's jump right into it, guys. So here we have the Nerdrotic review for Doctor Strange. In my oh my, is it pretty? It's terrible. It's so cringeworthy that it's not even funny. So we're gonna take a look at it. Again, I just want to be very clear that I do not support anything that he says. He's a bigot. It's blows my, like I said, it blows my mind that this dude has not been canceled yet. His takes are they're just terrible. I mean, you'll hear. So let's get into it.
Get the hell out of here!
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. You're trash, bro. Stings, doesn't it? She doesn't know what you are. I'm gonna cry.
I don't get it. What?
Nerdrotic.com.
Hollywood has a couple of problems.
What?
One is obvious. It's a giant woke disaster. And the other one is it's filled with writers who don't read, not even comic books.
You were the one who was like, we need a villain. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like, it's about grief. Grief's the villain. I don't know if we need a villain. And
Are you stupid or something?
you were like, yeah, we need a villain. I'm like, well, but do we need a villain?
I was raised on comic books, so I knew.
When it comes to Doctor Strange 2, I am not going to lay the responsibility of this being a giant mess at the feet of Sam Raimi.
Okay. First and foremost, I have no idea what any of that shit meant. It didn't make sense. Did not make sense to me. So, well, the WandaVision thing did. That was pretty funny. But it's not because she was a female. It's just because she was wrong. It needs a villain. But I don't think this movie was a mess. I definitely think it needed like 30 minutes more. But I thought they were able to achieve a lot in that, under 2-hour runtime. Let's see what he keeps saying.
Director of Spider-Man 2, one of my favorite superhero films of all time, the creator of the Evil Dead franchise, including Ash vs. Evil Dead, one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. He has proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that when he's left alone, he can be brilliant. But it happened to you again, Sam, and it's Spider-Man 3 all over again, except Doctor Strange 2 is worse. That's right, I said it. I'd take Bully
Nope. All untrue.
over this any day. Doctor Strange 2 was supposed to be Marvel's horror film, but the only thing that ended
It was, when Scott Derrickson was attached, it was going to be labeled as a horror film. When Sam Raimi took over, it was no longer being described as a full horror film. It was not. That's very, very wrong.
ended up being horrific was the dialogue.
I don't even want to know.
And once again, we get that twisted Hollywood morality, the same Hollywood morality that gave us Wonder Woman the Rapist, female Mengele in Black Widow, and of course, Wanda Maximoff, who enslaved an entire town of men, women, and children and put things right.
If you're looking for a low-stress online business
Oh, here we go with his fucking
that is simple to
ads.
set up and just works, one that gives you
Not gonna pay for your
Yes,
ads.
queen.
And we'll get to that, but I'm starting to think that Hollywood has a lot of trouble with the whole right, wrong thing. Of course, Sam Raimi does bear some responsibility, but the lion's share, the majority, goes to Kevin Feige because this is a Kevin Feige production. This is not a movie. It is not a film. It is processed, overproduced content.
You gotta want it. This is your year.
Doctor Strange 2 is
By the way, all Nerdrotic does is make videos like this. He puts the little fucking clips in there to make you to almost make you forget the dialogue that he's saying, because on the surface, it kind of may look a little funny. What he's saying is super fucking sexist. Of course, not what he just said, but his overall vision is super sexist and racist. He always, if it's not a white male character who dominates the entire story, then it's a woke Marvel production, and it's really sad. It really is sad.
not a sequel to Doctor Strange, and it's not a Doctor Strange movie. It is a follow-up to WandaVision, a show that the writers of this film did.
No, it's not. Even Raimi admitted that he had only seen parts of WandaVision. It was not a follow-up to WandaVision in that sense, or in the point that he's trying to make. It's not.
Didn't watch. Now, I understand why you didn't bring in the writer of WandaVision, Jack Schaefer, the woman who didn't know who Mephisto was, but I don't think it's a better decision to bring in the writer of Loki, which completely destroyed the Marvel Universe with its new rules and then didn't follow any of those rules. So to get this out of the way, was it woke? Yes, and we did get a first this week. It was the
There he goes. Here we go. Now we're on the train. Now everyone can start. Now the real stuff starts. Watched his Moon Knight video where all he does is make fun of Layla for being a hero and a strong woman in the story. And here we go. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to target Wanda, and every single thing is going to be about the MCU. Now, I haven't seen this video that we're about to watch, but here we go. How many times we're going to hear the MCU woke and how it was not Doctor Strange's film. It was Wanda's film.
second part of an MCU double feature. And with the release of
Here
this
we
photo
go.
of female Thor, Disney has achieved peak MCU. But that's not
Hey,
all.
2
Disney
times.
Marvel has committed one of the worst crimes against imagination I have seen since not putting Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. And we'll get to that as well. And we also have to mention that Disney Marvel is hell-bent on assassinating all of their characters, and they waste no time in Doctor Strange 2. From this point on, there's going to be heavy spoilers, so you have been warned. The plot goes a little something like this. The girl who's the key to everything, America Chavez, the really popular Marvel Comics character, is able to travel through the multiverse. She is being hunted by something who wants to steal her power. The film starts out with America
Oy
and
vey.
Defenders Doctor Strange, not the Doctor Strange from the MCU, but it's an alternate version that is based on a version in the comic books, and they're running from a spaghetti monster. Now, remember spaghetti because that comes up later. Very early on in the film, they establish that her powers are far too dangerous. If they get in the wrong hands, it could destroy the entire multiverse. The Doctor Strange protector realizes this when they are cornered, and it looks like that's it for them. So he decides to take her powers. He gets mortally wounded, but ends up saving her in the end as she gets scared because she can't control her powers and goes through a star-shaped portal. That also sucks through the dead body of that Doctor Strange. Quick aside, this Doctor Strange died a hero, although he was treated as a betrayer. He saved the entire multiverse. This cannot be undersold, and quite frankly, the stakes can't get
No,
any
he did
higher
not.
in any Marvel film from here on out. This was pointed out by Rags on EFAP when I was with him last Saturday, and he was right. Yeah, so I'm not really sure where you go from saving all possible multiverses unless you just need to continually save them. And I can hear you now. I watched Loki, and I thought there was a sacred timeline until very recently. That contradicts the branch that comes off the separate timeline in Endgame. The rules from Loki don't affect this movie just like they didn't affect No Way Home. As a matter of fact, it's best not to think about the rules of this film, along with not thinking about the writing, the plot, the characterization, logic, things like that. So we're a few minutes into the film and we've already killed a Doctor Strange, and the character assassination has only just begun. We arrive in the MCU universe, which does eventually get a designation, which we will talk about later. And apparently Doctor Strange in the MCU dreamt all this. Then he's off to get cucked at Laura Palmer's wedding. Did I just say Laura Palmer? I meant Christine Palmer. The wedding gets interrupted by our girl who's the key to everything, America Chavez. Little America Chavez is being pursued by a giant interdimensional demon known as Shumagorath in the comics, but Gargantos in this movie. Doctor Strange, who isn't the Sorcerer Supreme, and Wong, who is, team up to fight Gargantos, and dozens die in collateral damage. I might as well bring this up now so I don't have to bring it up again and again in the review. There are a lot of very effective and conveniently
he's actually blowing my mind right now at how naive he is. Imagine thinking like this. Imagine just hating everything. It must not be really fun to be him.
Gotten spells, most specifically the sling ring. A well-placed portal could have ended the spaghetti monster, Gargantos, Wanda, and our misery at any time.
All right, I got you, buddy.
I have a challenge for all of you.
Come on!
Every computer in your house, your mom's, your dad's, your sister, your brother's computer, and
Fucking clearly placed the ads.
The giant hands would have come in handy, the saw blade, the giant cat thing, any of these. But we're just going to let it rest because it just happens over and over again. And
so basically what he's saying is, oh, you found some movie fucking plot points that make it so that the movie wouldn't, this is so ridiculous. It's a fucking movie. They can't just be victorious in the first battle. Like that's not what makes for interesting fucking plot. Of course, yeah, there are moments that we do have to suspend belief in these films. But he's adding the insult to injury because he wants his narrative to be like that the movie's bad because of this. And if you also thought this, you're also right. That's he's painting this picture. And people buy into it. That's the crazy part.
most of this film is, and then we get some exposition, and then we get some more exposition, and then
No and then. No and then.
So let's talk about some exposition. They sit down in a cafe, and I have to point this out up front. The Defender Doctor Strange was after the Book of Vishanti, which is supposed to be a fairy tale, but Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme, knows about it because he was told.
Okay, so it's the.
In a secret book that the Sorcerer Supreme gets, alluding that Doctor Strange, when he was Sorcerer Supreme, blew it off. And it seems that everyone involved in this film either forgot or didn't watch the first Doctor Strange, the one where he becomes Sorcerer Supreme by excelling at reading a lot of books. Remember, he was meant to be the best of them. So we've established that Doctor Strange is kind of dumb, which quite frankly, he was in No Way Home, a film I liked, but
he's not dumb.
I didn't like in it. And they really,
he's not dumb.
Ram it home that he's not Sorcerer Supreme. So maybe by the end of the film, he'll be Sorcerer Supreme. Maybe we're tearing Doctor Strange down to build him up by the end. Don't get your hopes up. So America Chavez proves that the multiverse exists by showing Wong and Doctor Strange the dead body of Defender Strange.
I love his frosted tips.
We also learn in the MCU that dreams are just windows into our multiversal.
I know what he's going to do. This has been something that's been theorized for many years, by the way, even in not movies. They think that dreams are a glimpse into our multiversal selves.
I wonder if there's a multiverse version of yours truly that just enjoys MCU films unquestionably. Someone who's entertained for hours with fidget spinners, balls of string, and laser pointers. Based on the runes Doctor Strange saw on the 2D one in a dream and one in real life, they figure out it's not sorcery, it's witchcraft. And we'll cut to the chase here. Doctor Strange does something incredibly stupid and says something incredibly dumb. He goes to Wanda because she knows something about witchcraft. How in the hell would he know that when she just learned it at the very end of WandaVision? Then he says this.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? He knew about Westview. You fucking moron.
But you put things right in the end, and that was never in doubt.
Which sounds a lot like this.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Just let us die.
There's a lot of blood on Monica Rambeau's hands. Remember in Pirates of the Caribbean 2 when they killed the Kraken off screen? Everyone thought that was lame. Well, apparently Wanda has now been completely corrupted by the Darkhold off screen. Turns out Wanda is the one who sent the demons after America Chavez, and it turns out Doctor Strange just told her exactly where she was. At Kamatage in the country of Tibet with Wong, and it's all about to go down. The Scarlet Witch wants to steal America Chavez's ability to travel through the universe freely so she can be with her non-existent children. Doctor Strange's role in his own film is to simply protect the girl who is the key to everything from the bad woman with the bad MacGuffin book, and the only way to fight her is with the good MacGuffin book. Get it? Because Sam Raimi had a book in Evil Dead, and there's books in here, and it's directed by Sam Raimi, except the big difference is the Evil Dead series is good and this isn't. So there's a big showdown at Kamatage where dozens die for the girl who's the key to everything, all for some children who never existed. And one of the biggest flaws in this film is how
I just want everyone to realize what he just said. Let's run it back just a little bit.
had a book in Evil Verse freely so she can be with her non-existent children. Doctor Strange's role in his own film is to simply protect the girl who is the key to everything from the bad woman with the bad MacGuffin book. And
yeah, that is definitely the plot. The sorcerer protecting the world from threats unlike we've seen before. That's his job.
And the only way to fight her is with the good MacGuffin book. Get it?
Storytelling.
Because Sam Raimi had a book in Evil Dead, and
that is not the reason.
There's books in here, and it's directed by Sam Raimi, except
that's not it. Not even close. They established the Darkhold before Raimi was even involved. Well, but yeah, before he was involved. So,
the big difference is the Evil Dead series is good and this isn't. So there's a big showdown at Kamatage where dozens die for the girl who's the key to everything, all for some children who never exist.
I like how he's saying the girl that's the key to everything. Because her powers, they are just that. They are everything. So yes, Doctor Strange is protecting her from a very, very distraught Wanda who's been corrupted by a book of the damned, which is actually Lord for witches. This is an actually great storyline that they're telling. But of course, he can't see that because there's a female involved and one of them happens to be LGBTQ. So it's got to be the MCU.
And one of the biggest flaws in this film is how Disney Marvel bends over backwards to try to make the Scarlet Witch sympathetic, which she simply isn't. Now we're off to the multiverse of madness, into the Illuminati dimension, and this is where the keys start jangling, and then Disney Marvel drops them.
But okay.
And spoilers, they repeat the conclusion of this film over and over again. Wanda, your kids never existed. Wanda, the kids that are out there aren't yours. In the Illuminati dimension, we get some more exposition, including America Chavez's origin, where a lot of people, including yours truly, laughed out loud. An origin from the comics, but it's so bad and so intersectional feminist that they've already retconned it. She's from a dimension called Utopia. She has 2 lesbian mothers, and when she was young, she got stung by a bee, opened up a portal, and they got sucked through. That's what happens when there isn't a man around. She learned that
My fucking God. My fucking God. If that's not enough for you to fucking tune out of this dude, then I do not know what is.
this by walking by the the Memory Cafe.
Do you love
Oh,
boating?
another perfectly placed ad to ensure that you get fucking made money out of.
Well, Freedom Boat Club makes boating easier than ever.
Meanwhile, in Comitage, one of Wong's students destroys the Darkhold. Turns out the Darkhold is a copy, and Scarlet Witch forces Wong to take her where it was written. And another reminder, the perceived through line of this film does not run through the titular character, Doctor Strange. It runs through the antagonist, Wanda, who can dreamwalk, which is possessing the body of someone in another universe. In this case, it's herself. Back in the Illuminati universe, Doctor Strange and America Chavez decide to visit the other Doctor Strange, but he's dead, and they find out that the Sorcerer Supreme is Baron Mordo, who was part of
My. I feel like he's missing a lot of points.
of the Illuminati. And yes, let's finally get to this scene, because this is the single worst part of the movie. America and Doctor Strange run into Christine Palmer, and the Illuminati dimension is designated 838.
Why?
They designate Doctor Strange as being from the 616. Bullshit. The 616 is the Marvel Comics universe. The MCU is supposed to be the 199999, showing you they could give a crap about.
I agree with this. I do agree with him here. The MCU should not have been the 616, because that is the comics realm, and I do agree with him here. That's it though.
About comic book fans. The Illuminati is Captain Carter, Captain Marvel, Baron Mordo, Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, and Professor X.
Oh my God! I can't even. I wonder what he's about to say about what happens. I bet it's very cringeworthy. So please, just know, cringe alert.
That would be really cool if this wasn't a universe where everyone's IQ was room temperature. Or maybe that's just the writers. Meanwhile, Wong and Wanda go to Wundagore, say that 3 times fast, where the Darkhold is written all over the walls, and conveniently, it's a throne room for the Scarlet Witch so she can dreamwalk. The 838's universe, Doctor Strange didn't die defeating Thanos. He was executed by the Illuminati because he was playing around with the Darkhold and caused...
Oh, I am so sorry. I have to rewind it. I looked down for a text.
Where the Darkhold is written all over the universe, where everyone is Captain Carter, Captain Marvel.
I apologize. I'm not going to edit this out of the video, but I did look down, and I I texted a buddy, so I missed that whole little segment.
Baron Mordo, Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, and Professor X.
Oh my God! Wow!
That would be really cool if this wasn't a universe where everyone's IQ was room temperature. Or maybe that's just the writers. Meanwhile, Wong and Wanda go to
That was kind of funny, though.
Wundagore, say that 3 times fast, where the Darkhold is written all over the walls, and conveniently, it's a throne room for the Scarlet Witch so she can dreamwalk. The 838's universe, Doctor Strange...
I don't get why he does that. Like, movies do this all the time. This is nothing new.
Didn't die defeating Thanos. He was executed by the Illuminati because he was playing around with the Darkhold and caused an incursion, which apparently can happen when anybody travels to another universe. It confuses reality, and then it can destroy one or both universes that are involved in the incursion. Anywho, They are far more concerned with Doctor Strange than they are about the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And man, That might come and bite him in the butt a little later. So they're about to vote on Doctor Strange's fate, and guess what? Wanda shows up. John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic, Anson Mount's Black Bolt, Haley Atwell's Captain Carter, and
It's actually Krasinski, not Kaczynski. I don't know where you just got that one, but
Shauna Lynch, female 007 herself, all decide to take her on, and then they are killed in order of privilege. You know.
Are you serious? Is he real? Is this about to happen?
Not. And this part is just so stupid. Okay, Mr. Fantastic. The first time you introduce Mr. Fantastic into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you kill him immediately. He barely shows his powers. He's supposed to be the smartest man in the MCU, and he was a complete dumbass. Wanda was able to remove Black Bolt's mouth and pop his brain. And our two heroes, one of them who could sling a shield made out of vibranium, and the other one can shoot lasers out of her hands, stood there and did f*** all. But that was so they could have a big, long girl fight. Admittedly, the beautiful Haley Atwell gets cut in half, and I'm no fan of Captain Marvel, but how do you kill her by throwing a statue on her? A statue of Brie Larson, Captain Marvel? The one who flew through a ship in Endgame? Okay, that was funny. Where's Doctor Strange and all this? Well, he has a fight with Barry.
Wow. Nerdrotic, your takes are really fucking bad, bro. This was a display of Wanda's power. It wasn't to set to make anyone else look weak. It was to showcase how bad this is getting. Like, even the Illuminati had trouble and barely made it out. Only one member, Mordo. Like, it was a demonstration of power for the audience to see how powerful Wanda was becoming and what a threat she was going to become. It had nothing to.
Baron Mordo, and he just leaves him in some crevice, never to be seen again. Then there's Professor X, who can battle in the psychic plane as a level 5 mutant, could have scrambled Wanda's brains whenever he wanted, I guess, except in this universe where it's simpleton Professor X who just allowed Wanda to break his neck. But the Easter eggs and the cameos and the keys jangling, you know what a Disney Marvel fan's favorite thing is? The next Disney Marvel thing. So America Chavez saves herself. She's with Christine Palmer. They run into Doctor Strange. Professor X told him that the Vishanti Good Book of MacGuffin is at the base. They find it, and Wanda catches up and immediately destroys it. Dreamwalking Wanda is able to get America Chavez and expel Doctor Strange and Christine Palmer. Now, a bit earlier,
I don't get that fucking joke.
Wong tried to plead with Wanda that isn't it enough to know that your kids are out there and they're being taken care of, and she threw Wong off Wondergore because he was mansplaining. Doctor Strange and Christine Palmer end up in a universe that has been wiped out by an incursion, and of course it was the Doctor Strange of this universe's fault. Christine Palmer reminds this Doctor Strange that Doctor Strange didn't do a very good job of stopping the incursion. It's almost like Victoria Alonso wrote the script for this.
We're here. We waited and waited and waited. Yes. Cheeky and as Cheeky Chavez as you can have it. America Chavez! 2D, in 3D, so many options. In 3D IMAX, 4D, whatever D you want.
Because I want to be done talking about this movie, let's just get to the end. And I predicted the minute I learned that Scarlet Witch was going to be in this film, and I wasn't the only one. I thought Doctor Strange would probably end up fighting himself, and Wanda would end up defeating herself. Now that Wanda has America Chavez, does she just immediately rip out her powers? No, she dicks around and waits for Doctor Strange to save her. I'm sorry, she waits around so a zombie version of Doctor Strange can give America Chavez a pep talk so it completes her hero's journey. She was great.
When he says hero's journey, it really bothers me. I don't know. Does anyone else feel that way? It really, really bothers me.
Great all along. Yeah, Doctor Strange kills the other Doctor Strange, gets the Darkhold, and Dream walks into his zombie self that died earlier on in the film. Yes, this was a very cool, short-lived Raimi scene. America fights Wanda a little bit, and then she gives her what she wants. She opens a portal to the other Wanda and her kids, and then she gets to see what everyone's been telling her the entire movie. She never had kids. The kids in the other universe belong to someone else, and as Wanda says to herself, they are loved. Then Wanda throws a mountain on herself and destroys the Darkhold in every universe. Well, that about wraps it up for Doctor Strange 2. America Chavez is fine and goes off to train at Comitage with the Sorcerer Supreme Wong because Doctor Strange is still not the Sorcerer Supreme. 838 Christine Palmer goes back home. Doctor Strange gets a third eye and meets Clea from Marvel on Ice. Yes, it's Charlize Theron as Clea, and her costume's the worst one I've ever seen. It looked like a 90s superhero TV show. This film was a hot mess narratively, structurally. There was no real plot. I have so many questions. I will not get to all of them. In all of these multiverses, in all of these realities, where was Quicksilver? Where was Vision? Where was Kang, the descendant of Reed Richards? Why weren't any of the multiversal events connected to Loki or Spider-Man No Way Home or WandaVision? Where were the Nexus events? Why didn't Defender Doctor Strange use his sling ring, or Wong, or Doctor Strange, or any one of the sorcerers at Comitage? Where was Marvel's Katie? Where were the Celestials, the Eternals, the Gods, the other Avengers? I would say the entire multiverse being at stake is kind of a big stake. Why wasn't Christine Palmer the least bit bothered by the death of all her coworkers? Why did two heroes just stand there with their thumbs up their ass while Black Bolt got his brain popped and Mr. Fantastic was turned into spaghetti? Why have we gotten America Chavez, the Scarlet Scarab, two female versions of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, female Thor, and Echo before we get the Fantastic Four, Namor, the Silver Surfer, Galactus, and Doctor Doom, and the X-Men? We did get the answer to one question. We know why Scott Derrickson left. And the continued character assassination in Marvel films. And it wasn't just Doctor Strange, but we'll start there. Not the Sorcerer Supreme, told constantly he blew it with Christine Palmer, and he does in every multiverse. Christine Palmer at one point tells him how to use his powers. Evil Doctor Strange at the end was killing all of the other Doctor Stranges in the multiverse because of Christine Palmer. Let's not forget, currently in Marvel Comics, Doctor Strange is dead. And essentially the personal journey in his own film was to give a zombie pep talk to the girl who's the key to everything and be told by Christine Palmer that he's scared to love. He doesn't finish off the bad guy in his own film. Hell, he wasn't there. And as far as Wanda is concerned, what a mess. Just like with Thor, who is going to find himself for about the 8th movie in a row, we have Wanda constantly in grief. And well, thankfully she put herself out of her misery and put us out of her misery. And I like Scarlet Witch. And sure, they pulled from individual elements from the comics, but without all of those other characters who are in those comics, it's meaningless. Just like Wanda's logic, morality, sacrifice, and this film. And what's the overall message? Well, I don't know, other than if WandaVision was about a woman whose vibrator broke, then this one may be about what happens to a woman when she waits too long to have kids. How it should have ended is going to have a field day with this one. I'm guessing one of their endings involves cats and a fracking sling ring. And yes, this movie's going to make a lot of money. All right, more crap. This ends our Disney MCU double feature. We started out with Moon Knight and we ended with Wanda and the Multiverse of Madness, guest starring America Chavez and Doctor Strange. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you.
Don't thank me, because it wasn't for you. Of course, his takes are becoming very, very, very similar in most of the Marvel properties. He just repeats and spits out the same narrative, all because Marvel's trying to develop some female characters and introduce them. When in the first 4 phases, it was predominantly male. So I don't know, but listen, the guy, I don't know if he's like this in person. I don't know if it's all an act, but in reality, I'm very unclear on why people still watch him. His takes are very, very dangerous, and it's very, very unhealthy. I get it. He wants a certain film or certain like white male superhero driven comic book universe. Just similar to, comics were written in the 40s, right? 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. And at the time, there was a lot going on. Women didn't have rights. People of color didn't have rights. So, yeah, comics were written in a time that was so different. And a lot of the characters were depicted as white males for same reasons. And then since then, we have developed other gendered characters, other colored characters, and I really really love the diversity in comic books these days. And it just seems that Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, and all those guys, they're not open. They're not open, and they're closet racists, closet sexists. They objectify women. It's really really sad, honestly, and I feel terrible because like when you watch one of his videos, you feel dirty afterwards. It's really disgusting. What did you guys think? How do we combat that? How do we? Because I mean, the guy's got 43,000. No, I think it's like 435,000 subscribers, and his videos do tremendously well for some godforsaken reason. Like, is there that many people that think that way? I really hope not, because that's very very alarming. We're obviously going to keep talking. Anytime I can, I always want to react to these kind of videos because it really does remind me of how good of a person I actually am at heart, right? Because I really don't see like that. I don't see color. I don't see sex for that way, right? In that way, where a male is better than a female, or a white guy's better than someone from Pakistan, or someone from Egypt, or someone from Mexico. Like, it does, those things don't even pass through my mind. I see everyone as an equal. So the only there's the only difference between like the colors, right? Especially the race thing. It's all about where you're born, right? It's a pigmentation of the skin and how your body and ancestors developed to the climate around them. We are all the same. We're one human race, male or female or transgender, or anyone, no matter what you identify as. You are a human fucking being. God forbid our media starts to develop like that and actually represent everybody. Maybe some of the plot devices and some of the stuff that was used in Doctor Strange and the way it happens, yeah, maybe it is a little frustrating. I didn't like the movie all that much either. I gave it originally I gave it an 8.3, but if I could, I would drop that down to like a 7.7. I thought but the reasons I thought the movie were bad or not great were way different. It was for pacing, character development, etc., etc. Not for that shit. Oh my god, they just make me so angry that we allow that to even be, a thing on our platforms. That's the kind of shit. I don't even see anyone commenting on the videos. God forbid someone says something on Twitter, or I make a video about the Snyder Cut. I get, it's never ending. But we allow this shit to happen. Where are our fucking morals? Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you like what you heard. If you didn't like what that was, please come join us and continue the conversation. Please like and share, of course. Follow us on all social media. We continue that conversation. Become a member if you want to help support. Remember that we do it for you, and we do it for everybody, not just one group of individuals. Shocking. I'm all riled up. Probably go take a nap or touch some grass just to remind myself that it's just a film.
You can't make this shit up.